I don't think Gautam Gambhir needs any introduction. He is a member of parliament from the national capital. You've all seen him in his earlier avatar as a cricketer. So let me begin this straight out and ask you, Gautam, how prepared is the BJP? There's an election that's coming up in the national capital. And the subject of our discussion is today, progress or populism? How will Delhi vote? Given the kind of results we saw last time, there was a wave, obviously, in the city. And just 3 seats that the BJP managed to win. What way will the BJP be adopting? Will it be progress? Will it be populism? What will the party be going to the people with?
Look, first of all, I can assure you that the results will be different this time around. And you'll get to know in what, 3 months' time, that how prepared is BJP and what strategy do we go forward with. And when you talk about what strategy, probably I think progress is something which is very, very important. And this is what I feel, because in the last 4.5 years, probably it has always, there has been lot many promises that has been made, but nothing has been implemented. All I probably see are the promises, but nothing on the ground level. So probably, yes, BJP will go towards progress, and I'm sure the entire Delhi needs that as well, because I've never honestly seen Delhi as tired or probably not being developed in the last 4.5 years what it was. Probably things have happened before 4.5 years, for sure.
Right. The biggest problem, I know we're going to discuss the whole gamut of issues that Delhi faces as a city. You know, there's transport, there's education, all of that. But I think the biggest problem that all of us as Delhiites face is something that's already staring us in the face. You would have seen in the lobby a sign that already says NEQF close to 200, and it's still not even Diwali. You know, pollution is the one biggest concern that affects everyone, rich or poor, powerful, middle class, you know, working class, whichever sector they may be, male, female, it affects all of us. Do you think that this government has done enough? Because they do claim to have done a lot, but do you think that this is one issue on which all, whether it's state, whether it's center, neighboring states, all need to work together?
So, you know, probably the worst thing that can happen to Delhi is that when you get schools getting closed because of pollution. Probably there used to be winter vacations, there used to be summer vacations. When I was growing up, I never used to have holidays because the pollution levels have gone up. Probably this is something which we are seeing very lately as well. And there has been so many ads which I see every day, probably in newspapers, that this government has done so much about pollution and all that stuff. In fact, even only yesterday, me and Mr. Manoj Tiwari had actually inaugurated, 51 different kind of machines to cut down pollution. EDMC has spent 90 crores, and I'm sure we keep talking about that because of stubble burning and all this pollution happens during the winter time. But you tell me one thing: there are so many people sitting here that what has this government done in the last 4.5 years? We've heard so many things about vacuum cleaners, sprinklers, artificial rainfall. Has it ever happened in the last 4.5 years? All I see is probably big ads just before 3 months that this is what this government has done. But according to me, not because I'm sitting as a BJP MP, but personally, if you ask me, nothing has been done on the pollution level, on pollution front. So that is something which disappoints me, because you should only take credit to what you've done. You should never take credit to something what you've not done. You should put your hand up, and I've always believed in one thing, in my first profession as well, that if you fail, put your hand up and say that, yes, I've failed. There's nothing wrong in it. There's always time to improve. There's always probably ways to improve as well. But if you don't make your mistake, if you don't accept your mistakes, you will never be able to probably progress in life.
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned stubble burning, because that was my next question to you. You know, Delhi is surrounded. The immediate vicinity of the NCR is Haryana on one side and UP on the other side. Now, both of these are states that are ruled by the BJP. And you've been seeing all the reports recently, the maps show that in these states, the stubble burning is continuing unabated. So while you're justified in blaming the Delhi government for not acting, many would also say that perhaps these BJP-ruled states should also get their act together. And isn't that also, in a sense, populism? Because really the failure to crack down on what many see as a very key vote bank, which is the farming community, is also perhaps the reason behind these continued stubble burnings.
See, no doubt it's an issue. And I'm not going to hide away from that this is not an issue. Yes, there is an issue. But then all of us needs to work collectively as well. Delhi government needs to work on their front. The center needs to work as front. Ultimately, it's about people. There are young children. Every one of us living in Delhi suffers because of this as well. So it's about having a good relation as well. Probably Aam Aadmi Party has never shared a good relationship with anyone. And it is to work for the progress. Everyone needs to work together hand in hand. And probably they need to take certain measures what they should have taken in 4.5 years. Probably they failed on that front. That's the reason why you keep blaming on certain things which you've not been able to control.
Right. I'm going to move on to another big area, which is education. This government says that they've done a lot of work on education. I'm not going to get into the specifics, but what is your experience of this? Have the promises that were made been fulfilled? Because the government at least says that a good part of its budget, I think it's about 26%, if I'm not mistaken, in the national capital, is spent in the field of education. They say classrooms have improved, that there is all sorts of PTM meetings happening. As a member of parliament, when you interact with people, what is your impression?
See, if I ask one question, what is good education? Good education is the product that comes out of the school. Yes, infrastructure is important. Yes, classrooms are important. Yes, schools needs to be children friendly. Children wants to go to school, there should be infrastructure where they can enjoy going to school as well. But the product that comes out is probably the most important thing in education. And I don't see the same product coming out of the schools, what they talk about. I have not seen any improvement on that front as well. I've spoken to so many people, they say that everyone is struggling because of their policies as well. How many promises did they make? I don't know the exact numbers. How many schools will they open? How many universities will they open? What have they done on that front? Just by camouflaging things will not work. The quality of teachers, the product that comes out, the product that comes out of government school, do they have the same opportunity? Do they have the same opportunity as someone who comes out of a private school? Till the time you don't bridge that gap between a government school and a private school, the education system will never improve. And that has always been my take. My take is we need to curb that gap. There's a huge gap. Can I send my children to government school? Probably not at this stage, but definitely in future I want to see probably children going to government school, and the kind of quality of teachers, the quality of education that we get in government school should be at least, I'm not talking about the infrastructure. Infrastructure, it's difficult to match. When it comes to the private school, they've got a huge campus, they've got funds as well, but at least the quality of education can be matched as well. I don't see that happening.
You think it's all just hype that the Delhi government is engaging in when they talk
See, they need to
repeatedly
talk
about this? In fact, your rival in the election is a person who played a very key role in the Delhi government's education policy.
They need to talk about, they need to fight elections on something. And I'm sure probably they will fight these elections on education and health. I don't see anything else. They can't fight elections or any other thing, probably education and health, because they have something to show. They have the infrastructure to show. They have something to show. That's the reason why they're fighting on education. For me, the most important thing is the product that comes out. If he or she has the same opportunity once he or she comes out of that school, probably that is the right way of education, not just infrastructure. I'm not taking away from infrastructure, but that is the quality of education matters to me the most.
But why do you mention health? Because Mohalla clinics is again something that they talk about, because the claim that AAP repeatedly makes is that they've made healthcare more accessible, particularly to the economically weaker sections. Do you believe that is also just rhetoric?
I'll tell you this happened very recently with me. 1 week or probably 10 days back, I went for this Ram Leela at Aligaon, which is in my constituency. And I'll tell you this, people there was a Mohalla clinic there. And the candidate who was fighting against me, she had inaugurated that Mohalla clinic during the election campaign. And it's been what, 4 months, 5 months? Since the result has come, that Mohalla clinic has still not opened. It was just inaugurated. There are no doctors there. It is still locked, nothing. There was another Mohalla clinic which I went, I'm forgetting the place. There are dogs sleeping inside. And this is in my constituency. I don't know about other constituencies. I don't know about other Delhi places as well. This, I had seen it from my own eyes. So that is the reason why I'm only mentioning about 2, because I had seen it from my own eyes. And I hope and I pray that all other Mohalla clinics are not like this, because you are betraying the people of Delhi. Don't say something what you've not done. If you've opened 2 and it is doing well, say that you've opened 2. Don't say that you've opened 20 and it is not working properly. And that is the reason why I feel that the people of Delhi has been betrayed. Promise what you can deliver. Take credit for something what is actually working well. Not take credit for everything which has not been working well for Delhi.
So are you saying this is Mohalla clinics, several of them not functioning as you
I'm talking about 2. This is what I've seen it from my own eyes.
Sure.
One, lately, 10 days back, and the other one, when I was campaigning, I had seen it from my own eyes. In fact, I came out of the Jeep and I went inside and I saw there were dogs sleeping inside. And there has been no doctor inside that. And this was in my own constituency. I actually do not know about others.
All right. That's in fact a good idea to do a status check on that as well. But moving on to the other important issue which the government says it's made a big difference on, it's on the issue of power. Now, earlier Delhiites were getting very big power bills, and there is subsidies that are now there, particularly up to 200 units 200 to 500 units, I believe there's a 50% subsidy. This is one area where the government says it has, reduced corruption, brought in efficiency, and therefore has brought in relief to the citizens of the national capital. The BJP, of course, has firmly been opposing this, saying that this is just all hype. What is your take on this?
See, electricity is something, see, you're charging from the person who can afford and you're giving it to the poor. And that is, what do you call this? You call this vote bank politics. Can't we just think beyond vote bank politics? A good government is something which is for everyone. I'm not taking that people who cannot afford should not get electricity for free. But it should not be based on vote bank politics. It should not be that you're putting burden on a middle class or a upper class and you're giving the poor class or the lower class free. It is absolutely fine that, okay, if someone who does not deserve it, they should get it. But I've always believed we should think about every section of society, and that is what is called a good governance and a good government, which this Delhi needs.
Right, but then, when it comes to issues such as subsidies, it's not like the central government or other governments of the BJP do not give that. So what is wrong in actually providing some relief to the common man, to the poorest man who forms part of the economically weaker section?
That is exactly what I'm saying. It should go to people who cannot afford that. I'm absolutely fine with it. There's nothing wrong in it. Do it. But the vision should be to help the needy, not vote bank politics. That is exactly what I'm saying. I'm absolutely not against something like this. I completely endorse this, that someone who cannot afford, someone who deserves it, someone who needs it, should get on a subsidized rate or even probably for free as well. That is absolutely fine. But it should go to the right people.
Right. We're on the subject of populism, and some of the most popular claims or promises that were made by Arvind Kejriwal before he became chief minister was that of full statehood or of forming a Jan Lokpal here in the national capital. Both of these promises today, we're almost on the eve of elections in the national capital, have not been fulfilled, and repeatedly the blame falls on the BJP or the center, which he claims and his party claims have been stalling both of these initiatives. How do you respond to that?
See, the Supreme Court has given a verdict that statehood cannot be implemented in Delhi. Okay, because he had no issue to talk on to fight the general elections, that is the reason why he was hiding behind the statehood. And I always believe that if someone has the vision and the intent to work, statehood can't be something which stops him from working or doing something for the people of Delhi or for the state of Delhi. Jan Lokpal Bill, in fact, that was his top priority during the elections as well. I'm sure in 2014, that was his number one vision, that he will get Jan Lokpal Bill, a law against anti-corruption. What has happened? It's been like 4.5 years. Nothing has happened on that front as well. Blaming center for everything, blaming municipal corporations for anything. I think people are fed up of it. I think we need development. We need progress. We don't need a CM going on dharna or probably blaming for not working on center or municipal corporations. This is not what Delhi wanted. This has never happened 4.5 years before that. There were so many CMs before Mr. Kejriwal as well. Never thought that statehood was such a big issue. Never. I'm sure people sitting inside never even thought that statehood can stop people from progressing. And so Congress was there, BJP was there. There used to be development that used to happen. And then municipal corporations, there's regular conflict with the corporations as well. You want to work with people. You don't want to fight with people. And ultimately, who's the sufferer? The sufferer is the people of Delhi. And tell me one authority or one administration which Mr. Kejriwal works hand in hand with. All I've heard in the last 4.5 years is if people do not listen to him, or there is center do not support him, corporations do not support him. If you don't listen to him, I'll go on dharna. Come on, how can a CM go on dharna? He's got a moral responsibility towards the people of Delhi. Whatever happens, there has been times in my profession as well where people have not listened to me. But it is not that I've gone on a strike. I've got a huge responsibility towards what? Towards the entire Delhi, towards the people of Delhi. You can't betray them just by saying, I'll go on dharna. This is probably the worst kind of politics which someone can do. He's been the CM. There has been so many CMs. Have you ever heard any CM going on a dharna? Sitting in the LG office for what? How many days? I don't remember. Probably for a week or 10 days and doing nothing. How can you put the entire Delhi on a standstill?
So you're saying he bit off more than he could chew. He promised more than he could deliver, essentially, because this is not within his remit at all.
It's about playing with people's emotion. Someone asked me a couple of days back that what will BJP go with in this election? I said the promises which can be fulfilled. We will not play with the emotions of Delhi, and it is not right to play with emotions of Delhi people as well. We will only promise what we can achieve. Even during my campaign, I was not a politician at that time. Okay, I was a sportsman coming from completely different field, and I always said this, that I don't want to make Delhi as London or Paris or probably New York. I want to make Delhi like Delhi, where at least children or every one of us can drink clean water, can breathe fresh air, and women can feel safe, children can go out and play. This is the first and foremost thing. Don't make promises. Delhi can never become London or Paris or New York. We all know that. Deep inside, we all know that. Just by claiming that I can make Delhi like New York is just trying to get votes or trying to make false promises. And probably after 4.5 years, when you can't achieve something like this, you'll start putting blames on other authorities. Do you want this kind of a government? Say what you can do. Don't say what cannot be achieved. Delhi needs someone like this. Delhi needs someone who thinks about Delhi, who gives right promises, and who do not play with the emotions of the people.
You mentioned a few aspects, women's safety, safety of children. What are some of the promises? Give us a sense of what the BJP in Delhi will promise the people.
I'll tell you one thing. It's been 4.5 years. The first time Mr. Kejriwal came into power, he said that we'll make the entire Delhi as a CCTV. We will have CCTV all across Delhi. It's been 4.5 years. And I've just heard, a couple of months back, that 2 lakhs or 3 lakh CCTV cameras will be put. Wasn't Delhi safe for women 4.5 years back? Wasn't it was important for women's safety? Just 3 months before, I'm not comparing what I've done, and I can never match the numbers which Aam Aadmi Party can put, the CCTV cameras. It's been 4 months? We have already put 800 to 900 CCTV cameras in our constituencies through a CSR fund. It is the intent. Getting into politics is not vote bank. I do not believe that I want to reach somewhere. My intention of getting into politics was to do something good for the people of Delhi and for the people of my constituency. I'm not saying that I can put 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs, or probably 10 lakhs CCTV cameras. It's the intent that matters. 4.5 years, why women's safety wasn't important? How come it's important 3 months before the election? And when you talk about freebies, when you say this, that, free right for women, we talk about gender equality. I would have been very happy had free metro rides would have been free for children who were going to school, who cannot afford. This is real politics. Or bus rides for children who wants to go to school, who wants to go to colleges, who cannot afford. Free rides for women. When we talk about women going to defense forces, women achieving so many things, free things should go to people who deserve. This is the right way of politics. This is the kind of politics probably I have got into politics with. This is the kind of mindset I've got into politics with, that yes, give things for the betterment of the people who cannot afford. I would have absolutely supported Aam Aadmi Party had they made free bus rides and free metro rides for children going to school or colleges.
Right. I'm very glad you brought up the issue of women's safety, because that's obviously one of the biggest issues in the national capital. In a city like this, when you come up with a promise of CCTV, something that people obviously expect the government to deliver on, where do you think the government has faltered? Because it has been 5 years. There was an ambitious plan, if I'm not mistaken, about 1 lakh or 1.5 lakh CCTV cameras to be put up. That hasn't taken off. Will you be making this a big issue? You're talking about it now. Will you be making this a big issue in the election?
Wish I had known where they had faltered. All I can say is that we will go into the public, we will go into what we had done or what we can bring on the table, and probably not the false promises as well. I could have said that, I have put 3,000, 4,000, or probably 10,000 CCTV cameras sitting here, and no one would have gone and checked that whether it has been 10,000 CCTV cameras. I'm saying probably 700 to 800 CCTV cameras in my constituency through a CSR fund. I will never, don't lie, don't play with people's emotions just because you want their votes. And probably the intent, 4.5 years, it's been 4.5 years, a very long time to do something for the people of Delhi. It's not that you've just been the CM and obviously things haven't worked, and you've been a bureaucrat before that as well. You come from this, you know how things can work. So I don't know where they faltered. Probably the intent. Probably just because they came with so many big promises, and probably initially every one of us thought that, there's a person who comes from completely different background will deliver it for us. Probably he's also got into that mindset of probably staying in this, becoming a CM for next 20 years, and that is something that absolute power can actually sometimes corrupts everyone.
Right, so will we see the BJP promising more CCTV cameras, promising free Wi-Fi, promising more employment, as the Aam Aadmi Party has done and not delivered, or will we see BJP not going down that road at all?
As I said, that you will only see BJP promising what we can deliver. That is all I'm saying, and that is what we should do as well. Let's not go the path of Aam Aadmi Party by promising so many things and not delivering. I think that's not the right way of doing politics. What we say, we should be able to achieve. For me, I think there were two issues in my vision document, and it's been 5 months. One was Ghazipur landfill, and the second most important issue was women's safety. And I've already started working on both the issues as well. I'm not saying that I've made a huge difference. There's still long way to go. Yes, there's a pilot project which has already started in Ghazipur landfill, and the second is we've already started putting CCTV cameras through a CSR fund. My MP lad fund has still not arrived, but the day it arrives, obviously we're going to start putting many more as well. It's the intent. It's not that I'm going to say something what I've not been able to achieve.
No, tell us a little bit about the Ghazipur landfill, because every time when someone crosses the Delhi landscape towards the UP border, UP gate, you see this huge mountain of trash. It's there at other borders also, but now of recent times it has acquired important proportions because you have actually this leachate that's seeping into the water table of the entire Delhi. So what exactly are you doing about this? You said that there's a pilot project. How can we resolve this issue of solid waste?
See, I'll tell you this. This is a very important or a very good question to us. When I was campaigning I saw families living around that area as well, and the kind of water and the kind of air quality they were breathing. And I was actually obsessed about it to find a solution to Ghazipur landfill. Good on EDMC and probably all the authorities as well that we've already started the pilot project, and hopefully we'll have many more projects there as well and try and actually reduce the height of Ghazipur landfill. But the most important thing to reduce the height permanently is waste segregation. We have already started putting compost machines so that at least the waste that we can actually handle on the ground, which does not go to Ghazipur landfill, will be a huge issue as well. How we do waste segregation, probably less use of single-use plastic. Our Prime Minister has already started this campaign of say no to single-use plastic. All these things, till the time we do not find a solution on ground level, this Ghazipur landfill will not come down. Pilot projects or probably the project can actually decrease it, but every day there's the waste that's coming. So we have to rectify the problem on the ground as well. And on that front, I have already started putting compost machines in most of the Vidhan Sabhas in my constituency so that we can actually work on the waste segregation and waste management on the ground.
It's very important because all of this requires behavioral change. It's very well to put up a compost machine, but if the compost or the compostable waste does not reach there, it's not actually going to be effective. It's about attitudinal change. And I can tell you, I have seen, in places and colonies where people are asked to segregate their garbage, even that does not happen. People are so lazy to even do that. As a member of parliament, somehow doesn't it become the representative's role also to build that awareness?
Oh, it's a huge challenge. Absolutely, it's a huge challenge. We can keep talking that how can we make Delhi better. I think all of us are the stakeholders of Delhi. Till the time people do not want the solution, things can never change. And I've seen that in my, constituency, Trilokpuri, there has been 2 compost machines that are working, and some of the people have actually started realizing. There are agencies that are working. Cure is one agency which is working on probably creating awareness among people and doing this waste segregation in the household as well. So there are other agencies as well which we are trying to tie up with so that we can create awareness among people and try and sort the problem on the ground level as well so that the waste do not go to Ghazipur landfill and we are eventually able to decrease the height and probably in the end finish it off completely as well. It's going to take a lot of time. I'm not saying it's going to happen in 5 years, probably 15, 20, 30 years, but every stakeholder needs to take that responsibility. One MP, MLA or municipal corporations cannot finish something like this as well. Till the time we don't realize how harmful it is for our future generations, the solution will never come permanently.
Right. I want to bring you on to the subject of transport because, this government was supposed to bring in at least 5,000 new buses. 5 years hence, we actually have 2,000 less buses in the city. And if we don't improve public, yes. So if we don't improve public transport, how are we going to ever tackle the problem of pollution? How are we ever going to ensure that the pollution that Delhi sees does not happen on ground? What's more, even the e-buses, which in fact the courts were promised, the Supreme Court was promised, has not kicked off on ground.
See, you can start odd and even schemes as well, but where is the public transport? Tell me, where is the public transport from 5,000 buses, promising 5,000 buses in 5 years and reducing it from 6,000 or to 3,000 buses and not increasing anything? See, I can't answer on that, what they've done. All I can say is that all I see from their side is big advertisement and taking credit from everything. But till the time we do not improve the public transportation, there'll be more burden on metros. Okay, there'll be probably the taxis as well. You ask people to pool taxis as well. But ultimately, if you want to curb down the pollution level, you have to better the public transport as well, which I think this government again has failed on. I don't know how many things they've failed on, probably this is one more area.
No, but I'm actually surprised that you're having a problem with the odd even scheme, because it's not a populist scheme. Somewhere it did work. Sure, the second time around it may not have been as successful in bringing down pollution levels, but the first time it was introduced, it actually did bring pollution levels down quite considerably, the first time.
But then why didn't they continue with it? I think people were, if people were happy with
There's
it.
a third round happening now, isn't it?
Second or third?
The third now.
Third.
Yeah.
Then if it was that successful, they should have continued. And you know, in India, what happens is it takes time for a change. Everyone, we are not so, we don't accept changes that easily. So it takes time. Probably the first time, if they thought that this was such a successful thing, they should have continued with it. People would have got used to by now. And now bringing back odd even just 3 months before, what do you call it? Tell me, whatever schemes they're coming up with just 3 months before the elections is all political gimmick. It's just to get vote bank politics and all that kind of a stuff as well. I think probably in 3 months' time you will see a government which will not think on vote bank, probably think for the people of Delhi. And that is the basic requirement of every Delhiite.
Right. Gautam, in 2014, there was a Lok Sabha election. There was a clear Modi wave across the country. But the people of Delhi voted for Arvind Kejriwal just about 10 months later. 2019, again, you have a clean sweep in the national capital, but you know which way the people of Delhi will vote is really not known. What gives you the confidence that this time round there will be a change?
Yeah, it's a good question. Probably 5 years back, people thought that, yeah, we're getting someone new, we're getting an alternate to Bharatiya Janata Party and Congress. Someone which is never tested, someone which is new, someone which probably will bring new ideas as well, someone which is not from the political background, someone which has got a clean slate, someone, I don't know, who are making promises which can be achieved. And probably now, it is not about image now. It is about what he has done, what he has achieved, what promises he's been able to achieve. So it is about performance now. People have got to know that whatever promises were made were not achieved. So earlier it was about individual, now it is about the performance. And performance has been absolutely negative. So I'm 100% sure probably this time around you'll see BJP in Delhi, which is probably the need of the hour as well.
And my last question, before we wrap up this session, would you be willing to take up the top job in the Delhi as well?
That's not my job. And honestly, when I got into politics, there was no such intent of reaching somewhere or probably taking any position. My job is to work for the people of Delhi and probably to work for the people of my constituency, and probably in 3 months' time try and get BJP in Delhi. That is going to be my topmost priority. And rest, I don't even think about it, because that is what I've been taught, that work for the party and let the people decide.
Gautam Gambhir, thanks so much for being so candid. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks.
Thank you.